Hello, everybody. Welcome to this YouTube live about May 16th, full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And I'm calling this one Unexpected Truths Being Revealed. This is going to be very powerful, very intense. And so it is important to tune into these eclipse energies even now ahead of time and begin preparing for them and just begin, grounding and centering and opening up your heart for what is it that is really deep and powerful and is going to be moving through you at the time of the eclipse. So I'm Jocelyn Starfeather, founder of Sacred Planet. I am thrilled to bring you this astrological update. Let me share my screen with you and we can dive in. Here we go. Now I'm going to leave this in this view format here for a few minutes at the beginning, and then we'll go to the full screen view. So this full moon lunar eclipse is happening on May 15th or 16th, depending on where you are in the world. And the background image that I chose here is this cave, and you can see it's a giant cave, right? There's a little tiny person standing right here, and all of this light is coming into the cave. And the reason I chose this image is that this is a full moon in Scorpio lunar eclipse. And so this is going to be the sun, okay, in Taurus. The sun's going to be at 25 degrees of Taurus, and it's going to be shining its light, and the light will be fully reflected by the moon, okay, as it is at every full moon. And so it's going to be shining light into the caves of Scorpio, because Scorpio represents magic and mystery and that which we wish to keep hidden. It also represents the shamanic realms, the unseen realms, the multi-dimensions. And so we're going to be shining some bright light into these places that maybe wanted to be hidden, maybe weren't fully ready to be revealed, but the light is coming in. So this is going to be really powerful shifts, and we do want to be prepared. We really do. So as we lead up to this eclipse and where we are currently, as I'm recording this video today on May 6th, we are now in the 2-week portal between eclipses, because we had the initial eclipse on April 30th. That was very, very beautiful. Jupiter-Venus conjunction, Taurus solar eclipse. And then now we're moving through this 2-week portal towards the May 16th full moon in Scorpio lunar eclipse. Now we have planets moving into Aries at this time. Venus recently moved into Aries on May 2nd or 3rd, depending on your location. And Jupiter is going to move into Aries on May 11th. And Jupiter, other than a brief retrograde back into Pisces for a little bit at the very end of 2022, Jupiter will be in Aries for most of the upcoming year from May 2022 until May 2023. So this is some really powerful Aries energy, which is very forward moving, taking action, pioneering energy, forging a new path, finding a new way forward. And this is really powerful to know that that energy is coming in very much at the same time as this eclipse is going to be happening. Let me just check my notes here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything I wanted to be sure to tell you. So in this time between the eclipses, okay, as Venus has moved into Aries, as Jupiter is just about to and will be soon, this is a really big shift of energies, because we've had so many planets, including Venus and Jupiter, that have been in Pisces for a while. Okay, and Pisces energy is very dreamy, watery, floaty, imaginative. And all of a sudden, as Venus and Jupiter, and then later in the month of May, Mars, are all going to move into Aries. Okay, this is a big shift in energy. So we're going to move out of the dreamy, imaginative, even like kind of psychedelic space that we might feel like we've been in. And we're going to move into this much more action-oriented, can feel aggressive kind of energy of Aries. So it's very favorable for taking forward action. So it's like whatever you've been dreaming up during the Pisces time, what dreams have come through, what visions have been really working within you, You want to think about what actions can you take now to make that dream a reality. And this is about breaking new ground, really pioneering new ideas, new concepts for how to work with our world and make the world a better place or move ahead in your career, etc. And the last time that Jupiter moved from Pisces into Aries was between June 2010 to January 2011. So if you look back to what was happening around that time, probably what's going on for you now is going to carry a similar energy. So you can look back and see and get some context for what we're about to move into here. Now, another important note I want to share with you before we fully dive into the May 16th eclipse is this very popular question that I've been getting ever since I published the April 30th eclipse video, okay? Because people are asking me, are eclipses good times to set goals and intentions? Well, sometimes yes, often no, okay? And so it's really important to know what kind of an eclipse you're dealing with. And the quick and easy answer is eclipses are neither good nor bad. They're turning points, okay? But I want to give you more detail to this answer. So it's important to remember that in ancient times, eclipses were seen as a period of time when either with a solar eclipse, the light of the sun would get suddenly blocked out, okay? Or with a lunar eclipse, the moon would turn blood red at night. So either way, that's very terrifying. And for the ancient people, this seemed completely terrible, right? And so, of course, they, part of what's kind of written into the astrological understandings is that eclipses are very unpredictable times and even dangerous times. So now we have a more scientific understanding of this. We understand that actually it's quite fascinating that the moon and the sun, even though they're very different sizes and they're very different distances from the earth, they both appear in our sky as the same size. Okay, that's really special. That's really unusual. It's very fascinating sacred geometry, okay, sacred architecture of the world that we live in. But what's also interesting about that is that they can come in and cover each other up, okay, or they can come in and cast a shadow on each other and block one another out. And so with this more scientific understanding, we don't need to be afraid of eclipses, okay? We understand now we don't need to be afraid of eclipses, but we do need to understand that these are catalyzing moments in time when a lot can change, okay? These are moments when something is set into motion or something is initiated that's going to create tremendous changes rippling out from that moment. And so, first of all, it's very important to be aware of eclipses as they're coming up, as they're approaching, so that you can either, if it's a very favorable eclipse, like the April 30th one was, you can make the most of the energies, right? Like for that one, we wanted to tap into the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Pisces because that was so beautiful. And the new moon happening in Taurus, while Venus, the ruler of Taurus, was in her exaltation in Pisces, all of this was very favorable. So that was a good eclipse to use to set intentions. Okay, but also eclipses are not always favorable. So the other side of this is if there's an intense eclipse coming up or a very challenging one, we want to be aware it's coming so we can prepare and even protect ourselves against the challenges. And so the positions of other planets and where the nodes are exactly and where the other aspects are will have an interaction with the energy of each eclipse. And this is what's going to make the difference between eclipses that might be very favorable to set intentions on, such as the April 30th one we just had, or eclipses that we definitely do not want to set intentions around, such as the May 16th one that is coming up. So in the case of the one we had on April 30th, it held such powerful and beautiful aspects. It was a wonderful, gorgeous time to set intentions. Now, when we do set intentions on an eclipse, we do need to be aware that those intentions are likely to manifest in more rapid ways or more unexpected ways than your normal full moon intention setting. And this is because eclipses bring these rapid points of change and heightened evolution. Okay. And so we just want to be aware of that. It's like we just want to be aware of what eclipses are and what they represent. And once I describe more about this May 16th eclipse, which I will get to in just a minute here, I think it'll be pretty clear why you don't want to set goals or intentions while this eclipse energy is rolling through. So I hope that helps to clarify this question. Eclipses are neither good nor bad, right? They are turning points, they are catalyzing moments. And let me just check over on YouTube here. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Energy Medicine Woman. Hello, Emer. Hello, Donna Marie and Kaya. And yeah, definitely put your name and location in the chat as you on YouTube as you are watching, and like and subscribe to my channel. I would so greatly appreciate it. And I'm so glad for all of you watching this now. And if you're watching this later on as a recording, go over to the YouTube comments and put your name and location into the chat so I can see who's watching and where you are YouTubing in from. And again, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, wonderful. So let's take a look at this very intense lunar eclipse on May 16th. So this will be a blood moon eclipse. And what that means, it's actually not as scary as it sounds, but it is very dramatic. Where this eclipse is fully visible, which will be in the East and Central United States, Eastern Canada, all of Central and South America. Okay, from those places, the eclipse will be fully visible in the night between May 15th and May 16th. And you can go to timeanddate.com to check out exactly where in your time zone and when. But for those who can view the full eclipse in those places I just said, when the eclipse is in its entirety, you will see this full moon. Okay, it will go from a bright and shiny, nice and silvery full moon to covered with the shadow of the earth, which turns the moon red. And this is why it's called a blood moon, because it does turn a blood red color. Western North America, Africa, and Europe will see a partial eclipse. So you might see a little tint of red, or you might just see a shadow coming over the moon, but you won't see the fullness of the blood red eclipse. And during this eclipse, the sun will be at 25 degrees of Taurus and the moon will be at 25 degrees of Scorpio. So if you know your birth chart, or if you can pull your birth chart, definitely check and see what planets or aspects you might have near 25 Taurus and 25 Scorpio. If you do have something very close there, you know, within 2 or 3 degrees on either side, you will be very much feeling the effects of this eclipse stronger than most. And interestingly, the nodes, the North Node is now in Taurus, the South Node is now in Scorpio. The nodes will be at 22 degrees and 22 minutes at each of those signs. So the North Node will be at 22 degrees, 22 minutes Taurus. The South Node will be at 22 degrees, 22 minutes Scorpio. These are really potent numbers. So we're getting cosmic help with this eclipse. Even if it feels a little rough at the time we're going through it, we're getting some assistance here. Okay, so when this eclipse happens, Jupiter will have just moved into Aries a couple days before. Let me go into full screen mode here now. And so we are going to feel a galactic imperative during this eclipse to let go. Now, all lunar eclipses are about letting go, but this one in particular, it is conjunct the South Node, which is the case of all lunar eclipses, okay? And the South Node represents karma, trauma from our past, wounds that need healing, and what we're releasing. And this is all happening in Scorpio, okay? The blood moon is happening in Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is the zodiac sign of magic, mystery, as well as that which we wish to keep hidden. shamanic abilities, and the unseen realms. Scorpio definitely represents caves, like what we have in this image here in the background. So there's some really serious letting go happening during this eclipse. Scorpio also represents power and control. And as I already mentioned, represents hidden things. And so the eclipse happening in Scorpio in alignment with that south node brings a deep, heavy, even a purging energy. Okay, so there are going to be truths inside of us that we've kept hidden that are going to be just like surging to come out. Okay, and the same thing will be happening in the collective. And so there may be disclosure of things from the government, okay, or things from authorities. There may be betrayals happening. There may be hidden truths coming to light, things we didn't want to see. And this is a big part of what's going to make this eclipse really challenging. There could be, things happening underground. That's one of the like symbolic things to think of, like the cave, what's happening underground below the surface. There could be secrets, lies that come to light, hidden money or money being used for dark purposes. And so things can be exposed in very difficult ways during this eclipse. Let's see one thing here. Okay. We're going to also have a really strong Uranian aspect to this eclipse because the sun's going to be close to Uranus, and Uranus is very close to the north node, of course, opposing the south node. So with this strong aspect to Uranus, there could be surprising or sudden or shocking events. Uranus rules technology, so there could be technology, either big shocking advances or big surprising disruptions. And with Uranus involved so close to an eclipse, there is a high likelihood of things we never saw coming, right? Completely unexpected things. At the same time as all that's going on in Taurus and Scorpio, we're going to also have Mars conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So what I think of more than anything when I see Mars conjunct Neptune is the shattering of illusions, because Neptune is about our dreams, our visions, our multidimensional nature, and Mars carries a sword. Mars can be very warlike. So I just see Mars coming into Neptune with the sword and slashing through the veil and shattering those illusions that we might have been holding, both personally and collectively. So if there's any way that you feel that you've been like believing in something that's not really true, or any way that you've been hiding the truth even from yourself, if you can bring that truth into the light before the eclipse happens, it will be very helpful, because then that, whatever that is, that illusion, that hidden thing won't have to be dragged out of you during the eclipse time. I know this all sounds really dramatic, but it is going to be a bit dramatic at the time of this eclipse. Now, Mars conjunct Neptune can also indicate hidden aggression or aggression conflict that has been hidden and it's now coming to the surface, now being revealed. And in some ways, this can be very harmful. Feelings can get hurt. People can share something that is, in a very aggressive way that really should have stayed hidden. And so just be careful in your communications leading up to and during this eclipse, and be gentle with people, be gentle with yourself. Now, both Neptune and Scorpio, so we have Mars conjunct Neptune and we have the lunar eclipse going on in Scorpio. Both Neptune and Scorpio tend to keep things hidden or put things behind a veil. And so the light of the sun shining on this full moon in Scorpio is going to bring Scorpio's hidden truths out into the light. And Mars coming to Neptune and cutting through the illusions is going to bring Neptune's veiled aspects out into the light as well, and possibly in a shocking way. Mars tends to do things very suddenly. So we might see this in our personal lives with secrets revealed from family members, friends, or colleagues, or loved ones at this time. And we may see this on the global stage with just some examples here. Who knows what will happen, okay? But these are just some examples that represent this energy. Maybe a leak of previously hidden war strategies, or lies from the government or authorities that are becoming evident at this time, or health issues that someone wanted to keep hidden suddenly being revealed. Themes like this, shocking things coming out into the light. And also themes of ego or greed or false uses of power or corruptions. Things like this may be brought to the surface during this time. So what do you think will be revealed at the time of this eclipse? Again, I know it all sounds so dramatic, but I think it really is going to be on some levels. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you think is going to be revealed at this time? And welcome once again, all those who are live. I'd love to hear in the chat, what do you think will be revealed during this eclipse? Welcome Kim and Kaya and Tina and Destiny. So good to see you on here. Thank you for tuning in. And I will look back in a second for your responses to what you think will be revealed. The next aspect that we have here is Venus conjunct Chiron. This is also very difficult. Okay, so you can see why you would not want to set intentions on the date of this particular eclipse. So Venus is a very benefic planet. You probably know her well because we've studied her during the recent conjunction to Jupiter. Venus represents love, beauty, how we value ourselves, taking good care of ourselves and our bodies, our connection with the earth, pleasure, all of these wonderful things. Chiron represents our deepest wound, usually initiated by a trauma from the past. And our Chiron wound is something that we must heal in this lifetime. We are called to heal it so that we can become the teacher or the healer and help others move through their woundings. So Venus conjunct Chiron represents the deepest wounds in the collective of humanity surfacing so that we can feel them, embody them, and work with them to be healed. It doesn't sound very fun, but it is really important and it is really necessary. So Venus and Chiron coming together ask us, what has been harming life? Venus very much stands for life. Okay, so what has been harming life itself? What has made death more profitable than life? What has usurped the power from the feminine? Now, these are deep, deep questions that we're probably not going to have a simple answer to, but these are the kinds of things that could be coming up for us also at the eclipse time. Let me check back in the YouTube chat and see what you guys have said. Energy Medicine Woman says there are already some shocking things from the past that have happened to me in this time between eclipses, teaching me some strong lessons. Yeah, I mean, it's important to know that we are ramping up from all the beauty and the, relaxing, pleasurable aspects of the April 30th eclipse. We're already ramping up toward this May 16th point. So the revelations may already be happening. The shocking truths may already be coming unveiled. So if anybody else wants to comment, I would really love to hear. What else do you think will be revealed? Tina says, well, I will be on a plane coming back from a visit with my daughter and grandchildren. Looks like I will be on high alert. Yeah, just be, it's fine to be flying on this day, but just, take any extra precautions you can and just do, follow your intuition and you will be safe. This is more about conversations and things coming out of the news, more than anything. So then as well, we have the Aries energy, because Venus conjunct Chiron is happening in the sign of Aries. And this is a sign that asks us to do something about it. Okay, Aries wants to solve the problem. Aries wants to go have the tough conversation or whatever is needed. And then we also have the Sun and Uranus together with the North Node in Taurus, okay, So all of these will also be asking, how can we reverse or heal the ways that we're harming life? How can we change this trajectory? How can we shift it and make life more profitable than death? How can we give the power back to the sacred feminine so she can bring harmony and balance back so the sacred masculine and feminine can stand united? Again, really big questions. There is an ancient text that was written in actually Greek times, okay, but it's based on Egyptian wisdom, and it was said to be written originally by the god Thoth or Jehuti, who in Greek times they called Hermes Trismegistus, and it was called the Great Lament. And it is this very intense document that is talking about, someday the people of the earth will no longer believe in spirituality. Someday the rivers will be filled with trash. Someday the temples will no longer hold their power, and this kind of thing. Okay. And it was written in, thousands of years ago. And it's kind of chilling to read it because it is talking about what is happening on the earth today. And so I do think with Venus conjunct Chiron, okay, if we're looking at the deepest wounds of the collective of humanity coming up so we can feel, embody, and work with them, I think we're going to be called to look at what have we done to life itself and how can we shift this? How can we change it? And I really do encourage everybody to look at this in your own life, okay? What can you do? We can all actually do a lot to help. And so at this eclipse, we're going to be called to make big changes. So start thinking now about what are the changes that you might make in your life that are in favor of life, in service to life. And these can be little things like, are you throwing away your fruit and vegetable scraps? Well, maybe you can start composting, right? And that may seem like a small thing, but if we all start composting, that's going to make a huge difference, right? Or if a lot of people do. Are you using or supporting companies that sell pesticides that harm the pollinators and that harm all of us, right? Look at what companies you're supporting. Stop using any products or supporting companies that are selling pesticides or selling other things that harm the planet. And you can just get outside. I mean, we are in beautiful springtime in the northern hemisphere, beautiful autumn in the southern hemisphere, right? So get outside and make offerings to the earth. Come into relationship with the trees and the birds and the animals and the nature spirits near you. Ask them what you can do to help. They will certainly know what to do. You can do fun things like plant a pollinator garden and go to farmers markets and support your organic and local farmers and vote for leaders who will fight against pipelines and pesticides. There's really actually so much that we can do together. And it's just starting to rain here right now, which is interesting because it's been supposed to rain all day and it really hasn't. And now as I'm talking about these things, I feel the earth and the cosmos responding, right? There's always, everything has meaning. It's starting to rain right now. The rain brings life to all of these beautiful plants and birds that you can hear in my background. And so I want to invite you to something really powerful that we're going to do together as a community. Let me share a different screen here with you. This is going to be a free prayer gathering on May 16th, and I would love to have you all attending, or of course, getting the recording. So let me bring this up on the screen here. We are calling this Holding the Calm Center, which is something that I talked about in the April 30th video. This is going to be a global meditation gathering on the eclipse day, May 16th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And we're going to create a field of love and oneness in the midst of the chaos. Now, we're already in the midst of the chaos right now, okay? And we're going to probably be even deeper in that on May 16th. So we're going to come together as a global community and hold our hearts and hands together all around the world to create a field of love and oneness and send that out and let it shower down upon the earth, just as the rain is showering down here, and help us and guide all of us and help us to shift our trajectory. So you can find this at, and I'll put it in the description field once the live is complete, but for now it won't let me post anything in the YouTube chat. So go to my website, which is wearesacredplanet.com/holding the calm center hyphenated. And you can register completely free for this. And we will, send the Zoom link and everything out to you once you register. So I hope you'll all attend. I think that's going to be incredibly powerful and a wonderful way to work with these energies and bring love and oneness through this eclipse portal. So let me share my screen again here, and we're going to go to this next piece about the eclipse, which is very interesting. So at the exact time of the eclipse, we have Mars and Venus working together again. Now, Mars and Venus have been working together and dancing together extensively ever since February 2022. And I've spoken about that even more in earlier videos and how they are helping us to find our sacred union partnerships. But during this eclipse, despite all the intensity, we have another example of how they're joining forces to help us. So there's something really powerful about Mars being exactly conjunct Neptune and Venus being exactly conjunct Chiron at the exact same time and at the time of this May 16th eclipse. And so this is the masculine and feminine both facing their shadows simultaneously, okay? And calling us to look at the darkness and heal it so we can bring a new future forward into the light. They're really coming together to show us what changes need to be made, helping us to take on our collective issues in a powerful and forward-looking way, and in a beautiful coordination of sacred masculine and sacred feminine working together. So it's not fun, okay? Again, it's not Mars conjunct Neptune and Venus conjunct Chiron. It's not fun. It's not pretty, but it is going to bring us openings into some really deeply needed healing and change that wants and needs to come through us at this time of the blood moon, okay? And they're going to really force us to look at aspects of the shadow. Maybe we don't want to see that, but maybe we need to, and maybe it's going to really help us to make the shifts that are imperative for us at this time. We also have some help from Pluto. So Pluto, though, these are favorable aspects from Pluto, and this is very interesting as well. Let me make sure, can you all hear me okay? The rain's coming down harder now, so let me know if you can hear me. Let's see. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. And I'll go on now in the meantime. Pluto being trine the sun and sextile the moon is actually very favorable for us. Now, Pluto is the lord of the underworld, but something that I always say is that you can really count on Pluto. Some of the other planets, the closer planets to the sun and to the earth, they move fairly quickly. So they teach us these lessons and then they move on. Pluto, on the other hand, is the outermost planet in astrology. He moves very slowly. He does drag us down to the underworld, but then we can count on him to birth us back into the light. In this way, Pluto is actually very reliable. He will bring us back to the point of resurrection. And so he wants to help us get initiated. He also wants to be sure to bring us back into the light so we can move forward with these lessons we've learned. So Pluto is going to support us through all of this, everything that I already shared with you here, okay, and really help us to swim through the darkest waters and come forth by day once again. Now, there is a beautiful oracle deck that is called the Book of Doors Oracle deck, and it is based on the ancient Egyptian Neteru and the ancient Egyptian mythology. And there's a card in it that is the final stage of moving through the Duat, which is the underworld in ancient Egyptian mythology. And it's called Pert Em Hau. And the story with this card is that it is the point of exiting the Duat and coming forth into the day and into the light once again. And it's very powerful. It's saying that you basically enter into the tail end of this cosmic serpent, and then you emerge through the mouth of the serpent. And once you come out the mouth of the serpent, you are back in the light. Okay. And this is what Pluto is here to help us to do. So the initiations we're going to be going through at this time are truly here to help bring us back into the light. And looks like people can hear me well. So that is fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. So on top of everything I've already told you, Saturn is involved as well. Okay. So through all of this, Saturn is going to be squaring the sun and the moon at the time of this eclipse. And this brings added difficulty and challenge and stuckness because we've got these other pieces that feel like they're moving, like Venus and Chiron. Okay, she wants to move this wounding through and heal it. Mars and Neptune. Mars wants to shatter the illusions and we can move forward. The moon in Scorpio, that moon's moving really fast. It's going to fly through Scorpio. It's just going to be a moment in time. But Saturn being involved is going to slow things down. So with Saturn involved, whatever is revealed, okay, so whatever these hidden truths are that are coming to light, we may find it difficult to take positive action right away. And the healing that our hearts are going to be longing to do with the Venus-Chiron conjunction may feel slow and frustratingly hopeless at the time of the eclipse. Now, I don't tell you guys this so that you get depressed, okay? But I tell you this so that you know and you understand when you're feeling this on the eclipse day or like a day or two on either side, don't give up your hope. Know that it will be normal to feel hopeless during this time, but still everything else is going to move and eventually we will get out of that stuckness. So if you're overcome with a feeling that you will not move past this on the eclipse day or the days surrounding it, really take heart, be gentle with yourself, don't despair. We're all going to be in it together, okay? You're not alone, and this too shall pass. And these energies will move forward eventually. Everything does move forward eventually, even Saturn, even Pluto, right? So the true healing balm and new understandings after the big unsettling revelations, that healing can come through. And we want to keep in mind that when Saturn works with us in this way, when Saturn works with us in this way, it is so that the changes and healing can truly last and can truly support us in the long term. This is Saturn's role. Saturn is Father Time. He slows down time. He slows down our progress so that we can truly, truly anchor in what we're learning and the healing that is meant to occur. One thing I want to talk about regarding what you may be feeling already is that we've had increased solar flares in March, April, and May of 2022. So I've talked to a lot of people who are feeling very tired, who are feeling like, what the heck is going on? And so, yes, we have the intensity of the astrology, okay? And we are in the eclipse portal, but also solar flares are at a higher point right now than what we've seen in decades. And all throughout March and April 2022, they have logged a very significant number of these solar flares and CMEs, which are coronal mass ejections, including X flares, which are the largest kind of flares on April 30th and on May 3rd. Continuing high levels all throughout the first week of May so far. And you can learn more if you go to earthsky.org and search for the solar flare updates. It's very fascinating. Now, this is destabilizing for the electromagnetics of our bodies. It's a lot for our bodies to take. So something that is really important for us at this time is to double down on self-care, on taking our vitamins and supplements, on eating really, really good, healthy food and drinking really good, clean water. I'm going to share with you a quote from Pam Gregory, who is another wonderful astrologer. She says that this is all part of the changes that are happening right now. Like, it's no mistake that the astrology is intense and we're having solar flares. It's all happening together. And she says, the CMEs and solar flares are constantly bringing us new information into the biosphere and allowing us to hold more light in our bodies. We are becoming crystalline. It's exciting, but it feels destabilizing. We're going to see a lot of turbulence in the 3D world. There will be a lot of drama and noise. Now, I thought this was really interesting. We know the drama and noise is coming, right? That's all written in the astrology. But I thought it was so interesting that she said, bringing us these CMEs and solar flares are bringing us new information into the biosphere and allowing us to hold more light in our bodies. And so I do feel this, despite all the intensity, as hope rising, okay, as new hope for a really big shift. And I just can't say enough that we are so supported at this time to make the massive, massive changes that are needed. And so as we're going through all of this, as we're dealing with difficult revelations, know that this is bringing you closer to truth. This is allowing you to actually make more accurate decisions in your life, or for us to know more accurately what's really going on in the government or with the authorities or whatever the case may be, right? It's helping us to get to truth. And this impetus to look at what are the deepest woundings, what is the collective human wounding, or the ways the feminine has been violated, the ways that life is being violated. It's not easy to look at, but we've got to look at it in order to shift the trajectory. And this eclipse is just a major, major escalation point to bring all of this into our awareness, to bring the deeper truths to light, the things that we didn't want to look at, the things that wanted to stay hidden. It's going to bring them out and allow us to work with them. So, take all of this in and process it and sit with it, okay? And trust, above all else, trust the process. Through all of it, I have no doubt that we are being so guided. We are being so protected. We are being so helped at every point on the journey. And I just love what Pam Gregory has said, that the solar flares are help coming and bringing more light into all of us, into all of the life forms, so that we can embody that light and make the changes and have the energy to do what is needed. And this is why I want to bring together that Holding the Calm Center prayer group. So do look for the link in the chat or in the description field below. If you're watching this as a recording, and those who are on live, again, go to my website and then do / Holding the Calm Center hyphenated. Come and join me on May 16th for this global prayer gathering, because together we can hold that calm center. Together we can make each other stronger. If you think about a storm, right, there are massive winds and destruction. If you think of like a hurricane that's spinning around the center, in the center, all is calm. And that's the energy that we need to hold, right? We need to really engage our resilience and stay steady and stable. We need to trust. We need to take really good care of our minds and bodies at this time. One thing to help with that is that I highly recommend the work of David Crow, who shares online courses about how to use herbs and natural remedies to keep our minds and bodies strong. I've been going back and listening to old courses that I had that he has taught, and it's so helpful to bring these herbs and teas and things in to help really like vitalize the system, replenish and nourish the system. And again, we've got to make sure we're getting the self-care that we need. If you are having health problems of any sort, acupuncture is absolutely amazing. and so very natural and has been done for over 5,000 years, just that we know of. Okay, so this is one holistic health method that you might want to turn to. I also recommend turning off your Wi-Fi at night. You know, if you think about it, we're in our houses or we're in our workplace and whatever, and we're kind of, the Wi-Fi is always on, the Wi-Fi is always running, and we know that that is moving through our body in some way. We don't know if that causes health problems for sure or not scientifically, and people have very strong opinions about it, I know. But it can't hurt to turn it off at night. It can't hurt to give our bodies a break. Turn off the Wi-Fi at night, plug it back in the morning. It'll be there when you need it in the morning. I really do feel this is something we can bring into our lives as just a new habit. I've been doing it for the last few months, and I feel it's been very helpful. And for me with my kids, you know, I'm happy that my kids are not being bathed in Wi-Fi throughout the night. These are little things we can do that can make a big difference. So I hope that this will be helpful to you and inspiring on your path. And I really do invite you to open up to what wants to come through, the truths that want to be revealed, trust them, trust what's happening in the world, trust that it is leading us on a path of accelerated evolution toward the brighter future that we know is possible. And as I say that, the sun is coming out, and I'll show you look at these gorgeous trees. They're saying yes, more and more and more life, and we can do it. And again, this eclipse is just an escalation point to help us make the changes that we need to. So I want to invite you all to just immerse in the light, immerse in self-care and health and more supplements, you know, of the type that can really help your body be replenished and nourished, herbs and teas. And join us. I'll share my screen again for this part. Join us for Holding the Calm Center on the eclipse day on May 16th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. New York time. If you come to this page, again, it's wearesacredplanet.com/Holding the Calm Center, which is hyphenated. And you can read a little bit more about why we're doing this and what we're going to create together. And then just fill out the form and you will receive all of the Zoom joining instructions, and we will send out the recording afterwards. So I really hope that you will join us. And I want to thank you for being in sacred service to life itself through being a part of that. So let me check in on the YouTube chat here before we sign off. Thank you, Emer. Thank you all for your beautiful comments here. Red says, hold firm and stay in the moment as much as possible. Yes. Marcia says, thank you. It seems like a warning, and hopefully we can navigate this intense energy. Yeah, it is. You know, I don't want it to be a warning exactly, but it is just be aware that this is coming, right? Be prepared. Just anchor into your resilience and your calm center as much as you can, and it's so that it won't feel as overwhelming. And again, just trust, and know that what's moving through is really important at this time. So I will show you one more view of the beautiful light coming through the trees. And I am sending you all just so much love and blessings. Mwah. If you know anybody else who might really benefit from hearing this video and helping to prepare their energy for the eclipse, definitely share it with them. I'd be honored to have you share my work with your friends and family. All right, until next time, everybody, I'll see you again soon. Much love, many blessings. Mwah. See you again soon.